do so much work that it would be unreasonable for you to fail. All right, y'all, listen, man. I think there's something that needs to go through a lot of you guys' head when you're approaching a task, when you're approaching work, right? And that is, your inputs matter a lot more than your outputs matter, right? Your inputs matter way more than the end goal that you're trying to achieve. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what you are pursuing, regardless of whatever it may be, that may be YouTube, that may be starting your own business, that may be working out more, that may be anything, right? Regardless of whatever it is that you're trying to start, if you do an unreasonable amount of inputs, there is virtually zero way that you fail. And this is something that I'm really starting to learn more myself, honestly. But yeah, let me give a couple of examples. Let's say we're talking working out, right? You want to build that amazing physique. You have been dreaming of this physique for however long, and you're finally heading to the gym. You're finally ready to get started, right? As soon as you get to the gym, you realize, oh shit, this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. That's true. You go hard for a couple of months, and what happens? Month 2 comes around, month 3 comes around, month 5 comes around, and you fall off. Month 7 comes around, month 8, you fall off, right? And the problem with just pursuing something without the inputs in mind originally is that when you're first pursuing something, mainly you're starting off of motivation. You're starting based off of that burst of energy, that burst of initial dopamine that you have when you choose to start something. Instead of going into it with the correct mindset of, hey, it's going to take this many inputs. It's going to take this many days for me to build this physique. It's going to take this many reps for me to build this physique. Okay, cool. Let's talk about something like YouTube, right? I personally was a victim of this. I went into YouTube thinking, hey, I'm just going to post the most quality videos as possible, right? I'm going to post the most entertaining videos I could possibly post or think of, right? And for a while, this worked. You know, there was nothing wrong with that. Of course, you do want to post the most quality videos you can. But what I didn't understand is the inputs matter, right? The work that you put in upfront matters. Because to be honest with you guys, regardless of what you're starting, in the very beginning, you're going to have to do an unreasonable amount of work to get the results that you're desiring, right? You're going to have to do an unreasonable amount of work up front with no results to show for it. And to a lot of people, that could be discouraging, you know? But to the right person, they'll look at it as, hey, okay, I want to go up on YouTube. I remember okay, let me go on this tangent real quick. I remember when I was first starting YouTube, I was doing my research and everything about what exactly was needed for me to succeed with this YouTube thing, right? And I would watch so many interviews of Mr. Beast saying, post your first 100 videos. Until you get to video 100, you're not even in the game. And I always heard him say it, but I never fully internalized it, right? Now that I'm here and I'm 4 or 5 years into YouTube, I'm understanding that the inputs matter so much more than the end goal. I used to obsess about getting monetized. I used to obsess about every little thing, every little detail in the videos instead of just posting, right? It's the same thing with literally everything else in life, you guys. It's literally the same thing with saving money. It's the same thing with building a business. Let's talk about building a business, right? If you're planning to build a business, what is one of the core facets of building any business, right? Marketing. You have to get your people to know what you're selling, right? You come up with this product, you come up with this service, and then after that, it doesn't just sell itself, correct? You need to be able to market yourself and get it in front of people, right? Okay, there's this businessman that I like called Alex Hormozy, right? I'm not sure if you guys know who he is. If you do, He's a really, really popular and successful businessman in the space right now. And he has something that he always says, right? Think of business in terms of thousands. Think of business in terms of hundreds, thousands in your inputs, right? A lot of people go into business thinking that they're doing so much work, thinking that they're doing I'm sorry, you guys, this is off the head, but a lot of people go into business thinking that they're doing enough work to get to their goal, right? Say you have to do a bunch of sales calls, right? People will literally do 50 sales calls and think that, hey, I put in so much work. Alex Hormozy says you haven't even started until you've gotten to 1,000. Think of it in terms of thousands. 1,000 sales calls. Once you finally make that first 1,000 sales calls, count that as one. Once you make 2,000 sales calls, count that as two. And I feel like that is just such a powerful framework to put in your head and realize that, hey, maybe I'm not doing as much work as I really thought I was, right? I'm not sure if you guys watched my last video that I uploaded, but it was called Getting Rich with Content Isn't As Hard As You Think. And I firmly believe that now, right? Because I mentioned in that video, one of the main mistakes I made was I thought I was working hard. I really, truly thought I was working hard because I was spending hours and hours editing these videos. But yeah, guys, sorry about that. You know what I'm saying? I had to switch to my phone, my camera died. But yeah, like I was saying, I was spending hours and hours editing my videos, and I thought that that was me working hard. But the problem is, when I look back at my channel compared to other people's channels, I realized something like, hey, you've literally only posted, what, 65, 70 videos, and you think that you're working hard. These other channels, they've posted in the thousands. This channel has posted 1,200 videos. You click on this channel, it says 1.2K videos. You click on this channel, it says 1.6K videos, right? To my standards, these were very quality videos. I thought that, you know, the more quality my videos were, that would replace the effort that I wasn't willing to put in at that time. And that was the main problem. What I had to realize though was, brother, like, you haven't even gotten in the game. You remember that quote that I said by Mr. Beast earlier and by Alex Hormozy? When you first post your first 100 videos, that's you just now getting into the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Alex Hormozy, he takes it even a step further. You're not even in the game until you get 1,000 inputs of whatever you're doing, right? Whether that be 1,000 workout days, whether that be 1,000 videos uploaded, whether that be 1,000 sales calls. Once you get to 1,000, that's one. Count that as one, buddy. That is the type of mindset you have to take to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Because I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're like me, right? We have these extreme goals. We have these extreme visions for ourselves, right? And we know that we can get there, but sometimes it's a little, I don't even want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? It's you lose motivation when you don't see the results that you want. But I'm here to tell you that the person you're watching at the top, they've probably taken an unreasonable amount of action. They've probably taken an unreasonable amount of inputs toward whatever they were doing to get them to where they are. And that's why they're in a position for you to look at them and say, hey, I want to do that. I want to be like them, because they took that initial action and it got them to where they want to be. I just want you guys, if you take anything from this video, please take the fact that it's not your skill. It's not that you don't have the skill. It simply could just be that you haven't taken enough action. This was just like the biggest mind-altering realization when I realized, like, hey, as young people, sometimes we feel like we're working hard, but we may not be working to the standard that we're capable of. That's what I need you guys to know and understand, right? I need you guys to commit at the end of this video that, hey, regardless of whatever it may be that I'm chasing, I'm going to take an unreasonable amount of action toward it. I'm going to put in that first 1,000 inputs and see where I get. I'm going to put in 2,000 inputs and see where I get, right? I just want to give one last example because I brought up Alex Hormozy and Mr. Beast a lot. I remember on the exact video that I was watching that Alex Hormozy brought up this theory of 1,000s, right? Start counting in thousands. Start counting when you get to the thousands. His specific example was door knocking, right? He said when he was first starting at this job, right? It was a sales job. I don't remember the exact type of sales job that he said he was doing, but he said that he was doing some type of sales job, right? And they had to go door to door and knock, right? Now, I've had a similar job to this, so this struck me really hard. I've had a door-to-door sales job, right, in the past. He told me that he was doing so much knocking, and he thought, like, hey, maybe this just may not be for me. Until he sat back and he counted the inputs, and he realized, hey, I've only knocked on 300 doors. He spoke to his boss, he said, I don't think that this is for me. His boss said, well, how many doors have you knocked on? He said, somewhere, I forgot the exact number. I think he said around 300, right? His boss told him, we don't even start counting until you get to 1,000. And that completely changed his mind. Forgive me if I'm misquoting it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm able to find it, then I'll let you guys know the exact thing that he said. But I know for a fact that he said he was door knocking. He did about 300, and he thought that he had put in so much work. And then he realized, hey, we don't even start counting until you get to 1,000. I want you guys to take that from this video and just go ahead and whatever you're doing in life, make sure you just take unreasonable amounts of action. Put in unreasonable amounts of inputs toward whatever you're chasing, and then come back and tell me that it worked.